Hi everybody, this is Nick. This is a new video showing the retrofit process for the Crazy Clock. Here's the actual board. I've already gone ahead and programmed it with the lazy firmware and dropped it on the floor. My ongoing never-ending war against gravity. Anyway, so you take the clock movement, here's one, and you pop the top off. I find it easiest to take a small screwdriver, get it framed properly here, and stick it underneath the tab this way and pry outwards. It depends on your clock movement how that's going to be easiest to do, but for the Quartex movements that I retrofit, that's the easy way. You get one side kind of worked out a little tiny bit and then move to the other side and pop it out just past the catches. And now the whole thing is loose and you can just peel it off a little at a time. You want to do that very slowly depending on your movement. If it's not encased like this, you might find an explosion of plastic gears waiting for you when you if you pry it off and do it quickly. You want to flip it over carefully because this black thing will fall out, and when it falls out, this white gear and this gear here will fall out, which is a pain to put back in. You also want to watch out because these battery contact pieces here will fall out as well, so I like to put it just sitting on its nose like that. Next step is to take a Phillips head screwdriver and remove the one little screw that's holding the board in, right there. Okay, now the only thing holding the board in at this point, the old board, is the solder on those two pins. So I just got a brand new tool for the job. It's a Heiko desoldering tool, and it makes quick work of that job. So you just put it over the pins and wiggle it around a little bit. Suck. And then do the same for the other pin. Okay, and now the board is completely loose. That used to be a very fiddly operation, but now with the help of Heiko, it's just easy. You really want to be careful with this too, because if those pins get any upward tension on them, the little wires that come from the coil that are wrapped around them will break off. So this desoldering tool is really a must for me because I do them so frequently. But if you're going to do it yourself, use a lot of either braid or a bunch of passes with the solder sucker. Just be very careful that the pins are completely loose before you attempt to pull the board up. If you break those wires, then the movement is toast. Okay, now you just put the new board into place. It fits over the pins. And there are some little plastic pins. That's another note. Be careful with the plastic pins that you don't melt them when you're trying to get the old board off or the new board in. If you do that, then it'll be much more difficult to get the thing off. Okay, now before I solder those pins into place, I'm going to put the screw back in. Okay. All right, and then now we just solder the pins into place. A little bit of solder on each one, and there we are. Now at this point, once again, you want to be careful flipping this over that none of this stuff falls out. It's often a good idea at this point to hold the movement down with your thumb and put a battery in. And just make sure you can hear the ticking. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it on camera, but you can hear the pattern of the ticking of the firmware when you put a battery in. And if that works, then you know it's good. The other thing you can do before you put the new board in, you can measure the resistance across the two pins without the old board in place. You should get something along the lines of around 200, 250 ohms or so. Now, you just put the outer case back on, and there we are. That is a completed lazy clock. Talk to you next time. Bye now.